It's Thursday evening, 7 days before the season's most important race. A provincial championship, 500 kilometers. Tough route, strong competition. You have 5 birds you're planning to race. They're well-trained. They've placed consistently through the season. Genetics are good. Health is excellent. You're confident they'll perform well. You walk into the loft to do evening feeding. The birds are active. Eating normally, everything looks fine. You provide their regular feed mix, the same high-quality feed they've been eating all season. You change water. You observe for a few minutes. Everything is normal. You leave satisfied that your birds are ready for the race next weekend. Meanwhile, 300 kilometers away, another fancier is also preparing for the same race. His birds are similar quality to yours. Similar training, similar genetics, similar health. But his approach to the final 7 days before racing is completely different from yours. He's not feeding regular feed mix. He's not managing the loft the same way. He's implementing a specific systematic protocol that he follows exactly the same way before every important race. Race day arrives. Both teams are basket and shipped. Liberation happens Sunday morning. Weather is good. Fair race for everyone. Birds start arriving Sunday afternoon. The other fancier's birds arrive strong, trap immediately, recover quickly. Several place in top 10. His best bird takes second position in the provincial championship. Your birds arrive later, looking more exhausted. They hesitate at the trap. Recovery is slow. Your best position is 37th. Not terrible, but disappointing given your bird's capability. You expected top 10, maybe even a win. What happened? The difference wasn't in the bird's baseline quality or training. The difference was in the final 7 days of preparation. That other fancier implemented a precise conditioning protocol designed specifically to optimize birds for peak performance on race day. You continued regular management, which kept birds in good condition, but didn't optimize them for maximum performance. The scenario plays out every weekend in pigeon racing. Fanciers with similar quality birds achieve dramatically different results based on how they manage the final week before racing. The fanciers who understand and implement proper pre-race conditioning consistently outperform those who don't, even when the birds themselves are equal quality. Today, we're covering a complete 7-day pre-race conditioning protocol used by championship-level fanciers, including Leo Heremans and Louis van der Velde. This isn't general season-long management. This is a specific systematic program implemented in the final week before important races to bring birds to absolute peak condition exactly when it matters. Day by day, hour by hour in some cases. Exact protocols for feeding, watering, training, loft management, and handling that optimize every aspect of physiological and psychological readiness. This is advanced material. If you're new to racing, focus first on getting basic management correct throughout the season. But if you're experienced and looking to optimize performance in important races, this 7-day protocol can make substantial difference in results. Let's go through it day by day. Day 7, which is a Sunday or Monday 1 week before race day, is when the protocol begins. The race is scheduled for the following Sunday. Today is 7 days out. This is the last day of normal training and the beginning of preparation phase. Morning of day 7. Execute the final training toss if you're using training tosses in the week before racing. Some fanciers prefer to give birds full rest for the entire week before important races. No training tosses at all. Others do one final toss early in the week to verify condition and then rest. Either approach works. The key is that if you're doing a final toss, do it day 7, not later in the week. The final toss should be moderate distance, 50 to 100 kilometers, not long and stressful. You're verifying that birds are in good condition and maintaining orientation, not testing their limits. Releasing good weather from familiar direction. All birds should return quickly and trap well. This toss confirms readiness and identifies any birds that might have problems you didn't notice. After the toss, provide recovery protocol, electrolyte water, light feed, rest. Observe recovery carefully. Birds should return to normal behavior within a few hours. Any bird that doesn't recover well or shows problems is questionable for racing the following week. Make note of which birds recovered excellently and which showed any issues. Afternoon of day 7, after birds have recovered from morning toss, or if you didn't toss, implement the first feeding adjustment. The regular racing season feed mix most fanciers use is relatively high in energy and fat. A lot of corn, peas, maybe sunflower or safflower seeds, designed to support heavy training and frequent racing. This mix is appropriate for general season use, but not optimal for the final week before a major race. Beginning day 7, reduce the fat content and adjust the protein-to-energy ratio. Remove or reduce high-fat seeds like sunflower and safflower. Reduce corn slightly. Increase the proportion of lighter grains like wheat, barley, and Dietary. Maintain peas or beans for protein, but ensure they're smaller, easier-to-digest varieties. The goal is feed that provides excellent nutrition and adequate energy, but is easier to digest and doesn't create heavy digestive load. Birds in the final week before racing should be maintaining condition, not building condition. They don't need maximum calories. They need optimal calories that maintain energy without creating digestive stress. A sample-adjusted feed mix for day 7 through day 4 might be 40% wheat, 20% barley, 20% peas, small varieties, 10% Dietary, 10% corn. This is lighter and more digestible than typical racing mix, while still providing good nutrition. Adjust based on your available feeds and your bird's condition. Feed quantity day 7 should be normal or very slightly reduced. You're not restricting feed yet. You're adjusting composition. Birds should eat to satisfaction but not gorge. Monitor that all birds are eating the adjusted mix. Some birds resist feed changes and might eat less initially. That's okay as long as they're eating adequately. Evening of day 7, implement stress reduction protocol. This is critical and often overlooked. Stress in the final week before racing suppresses immune function, depletes energy reserves, impairs recovery, and reduces performance. You must minimize all stress sources. No visitors in or near the loft starting day 7. Visitors create excitement and disruption. Birds become alert and active when strangers are present. This isn't rest. This is stress. Ban all non-essential human presence in the loft area for the entire week. No loft cleaning or major maintenance starting day 7. Regular quick cleaning of heavily soiled areas is fine, but don't do deep cleaning. Rearranging perches, moving nest boxes, painting, repairs, anything that creates disruption. The loft environment must remain stable and predictable. No unnecessary handling of race birds starting day 7. Don't catch birds to show to friends, to examine repeatedly, to practice basketing. Every handling event is mild stress. Minimize handling to essential activities only. Maintain absolutely consistent feeding and management schedule. Feed at the same time every day. Change water at the same time. Keep everything routine and predictable. Predictability reduces stress. Changes and unpredictability create stress. Day 7 evening. Provide fresh, clean water with light mineral supplementation if your water source is low in minerals. Not heavy supplementation, just light baseline minerals. Approximately 1/4 teaspoon sea salt per liter water creates slightly mineralized water that tastes better and provides trace minerals. Observe birds at evening feeding in water. They should be calm, eating normally, behaving typically. Any bird showing stress signs, excessive activity, fearfulness, unusual behavior is a concern. The week should be calm and restful, not stressful or exciting. Day 6, Tuesday, is rest and light feeding day. No training, no special activities, just maintenance. Morning of day 6, feed the same adjusted mix as day 7. Quantity can be slightly reduced, maybe 10 to 15% less than normal. Birds should still eat to satisfaction, but you're beginning gradual feed restriction that will continue through the week. The purpose of gradual feed restriction is to ensure birds arrive at race day with clean, efficient digestive system, not carrying heavy feed load in crop and gut. Birds racing with heavy digestive load perform worse than birds with light digestive load. The restriction must be gradual, not sudden, to avoid stress. Water day 6 should continue light mineral supplementation. 1/4 teaspoon sea salt per liter. Change water at least once, preferably twice if weather is warm. Water quality and availability is more important than feed quantity during this week. Afternoon, day 6. Observe birds during loft flying if you allow free flying during rest week. Some fanciers keep birds confined during rest week. Others allow voluntary loft flying. Either works. If allowing flying, birds should fly voluntarily and briefly, 15 to 30 minutes, not extended flights. If birds are flying excessively or showing high activity, you might restrict flying to reduce energy expenditure. Evening, day 6. Same feeding protocol as morning. Adjusted light mix, slightly reduced quantity. Birds should finish feed within reasonable time, 10 to 20 minutes. If feed remains after 30 minutes, you're providing too much. Reduce slightly next feeding. Day 6 is primarily about rest and beginning the digestive system preparation. Nothing dramatic happens. The birds are simply resting in calm, stable environment with appropriate nutrition. Day 5, Wednesday, is when electrolyte supplementation begins. This is 3 days before basketing, for days before racing. Beginning moderate electrolyte supplementation now helps ensure birds arrive at race day with optimal mineral and hydration status. Morning, day 5, water should transition to light electrolyte supplementation. Not the heavy post-race electrolyte mix, but moderate supplementation. Approximately 1/2 to 2/3 of concentration of post-race mix. Per liter of water, add 1 gram sea salt, about 1/6 teaspoon. Small amount of potassium chloride, if available 1/8 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon honey or glucose, optional 1/2 teaspoon lemon juice. This creates lightly mineralized, lightly sweet water that encourages drinking and provides electrolytes to support optimal hydration and mineral status. Birds should drink this readily. If they seem to avoid it, the concentration might be too strong. Dilute slightly. Provide this electrolyte water throughout day 5 and continue through day 3. Don't use electrolyte water day 2 and day 1. Return to plain water or very light mineral water those days. The electrolyte supplementation day 5 through 3 helps build reserves. Discontinuing day 2 and 1 ensures birds aren't drinking sweet-tasting water that might reduce their thirst drive on race day. Feed day 5 morning continues the adjusted light mix with slightly further reduction in quantity, maybe 20% less than normal feeding. Birds should still eat adequately, but you're continuing gradual restriction. Afternoon, day 5. If you're monitoring body weight, this is good time to weigh race birds. Handle each bird, assess weight and muscle tone. Birds should feel solid and fit, good muscle development over keel, but not heavy or overfed. If birds feel too heavy, increase feed restrictions slightly over next few days. If they feel light or losing condition, reduce restriction or increase feed slightly. Evening, day 5, same feeding and water protocol. Adjusted mix, reduce quantity, electrolyte water. Observe behavior. Birds should be calm and resting. If you see increased activity or restlessness, ensure environment is calm and stable. Sometimes birds become restless when they sense changes in routine. Maintain consistency to avoid this. Day 5 is when supplementation intensifies slightly and when careful monitoring of condition becomes critical. You're fine-tuning based on each bird's response to the protocol. Day 4, Thursday, 3 days before race, is when feed composition changes more significantly toward pre-race optimization. Morning, day 4, the feed mix should transition to higher proportion of easily digestible grains. Increase wheat to 50% or more. Reduce peas slightly. Remove corn entirely or reduce to 5%. Add small amount of dairy or millet. The mix should be very light and easily digestible. Sample day 4 through day 2 feed mix. 55% wheat, 20% barley, 15% peas, 10% dairy/millet. This is substantially lighter than normal racing mix. It provides adequate energy and protein, but digesters very efficiently, leaving minimal residue in digestive system. Feed quantity day 4 morning should be further reduced, maybe 30% less than normal. Birds are beginning to look lean, but should still be energetic and alert. If birds appear lethargic, you're restricting too much. Adjust upward. If birds still appear heavy, restriction is appropriate. Water day 4 continues electrolyte supplementation at same concentration as day 5. Monitor water intake. Birds should be drinking normally. Adequate hydration is critical. If water intake seems low, check that electrolyte concentration isn't too strong and making water unpalatable. Afternoon day 4, no training, no special activities. Birds should be resting. Some fanciers give birds brief voluntary loft flying, 10 to 20 minutes. This is fine but not necessary. Main focus is rest. Evening day 4, feeding and water same as morning. Continue monitoring condition closely. Handle birds briefly if needed to assess weight and muscle tone. You're looking for lean, fit birds with excellent muscle tone and alertness, not heavy birds or thin, weak birds. Day 4 is when the feeding protocol becomes quite light and specific. This is where less experienced fanciers often make mistakes, either restricting too much too soon and weakening birds, or not restricting enough and sending birds to races with heavy digestive load. Day 3, Friday, 2 days before race, is critical day for final adjustments and verification. Morning day 3, feed continues very light, easily digestible mix. Quantity can be slightly increased from day 4, back to maybe 25% less than normal instead of 30%. You're giving birds slightly more energy as race approaches, but keeping composition very digestible. Some fanciers include small amount linseed, flaxseed, in day 3 feed, 5 to 10% of mix. Linseed provides omega-3 fatty acids that support anti-inflammatory processes and provides concentrated energy in easily digestible form. This is optional but can be beneficial. Water day 3 continues electrolyte supplementation. This is the last day of electrolyte water. After day 3 evening, transition back to plain water or very light mineral water. Afternoon day 3, handle each raised bird individually. Assess condition carefully. By now, birds should look lean and fit, excellent muscle tone, alert bright eyes, tight feathers, energetic but calm behavior. Any bird that doesn't meet these criteria is questionable for racing. Check the crop specifically. Morning after feeding, crop should fill normally and empty by afternoon. If crop stays full late into afternoon or evening, the bird might have a digestive issue or you might be feeding too much. Monitor closely. Check droppings. Should be firm and well formed, not loose or watery. Loose droppings 2 days before a race indicate digestive stress or possible illness. That bird should probably not race. Evening day 3, final feeding of electrolyte water. Provide feed using the very light mix, moderate quantity. After this evening, no more electrolyte water until after the race. Day 3 evening is also when you make final decisions about which birds will race. Based on condition assessment, some birds might be removed from race team if they're not showing optimal readiness signs. Don't raise birds that don't show the 5 positive readiness signs discussed in previous videos. Better to race fewer birds in optimal condition than full team, including marginal birds. Day 2, Saturday, 1 day before race, is taper day. Feeding is minimal. Rest is maximum. Morning day 2, water transitions back to plain fresh water or very lightly mineralized water. No electrolytes, no supplements, just clean, good quality water. This ensures birds arrive at race day with normal thirst drive, not suppressed thirst from drinking sweet supplemented water. Feed day 2 morning is very minimal. Some fanciers provide only small amount of light grain, maybe 10 to 15 grams per bird of wheat or barley. Others provide slightly more, but still substantially less than normal. The goal is birds with clean digestive system by evening. By day 2 evening, birds should have empty or nearly empty crops. They should look lean and fit. They should be hungry but not starving, alert but calm, ready but not stressed. Afternoon day 2, absolutely minimal disturbance. No visitors. No handling unless essential. No loft cleaning. No changes to environment. Birds should rest in completely stable, calm environment. Evening day 2. This is final feeding before basketing tomorrow morning. This feeding is critical. Different championship fanciers use slightly different approaches, but all agree it should be very light. Heremans' approach was to provide only wheat in the evening before basketing. Small quantity, maybe 10 to 20 grams per bird. Wheat is light, digests quickly, provides some energy, but doesn't sit heavily in the system. Birds eat this wheat eagerly because they're hungry from restricted feeding during the day. By morning basketing time, the wheat has largely digested and crop is light. Other fanciers provide mixed light grains but very small quantity, 10 to 15 grams per bird maximum. The principle is the same. Birds should arrive at basketing with crops that are not full, not heavy, just light residual feed providing some energy for the basketing and shipping stress. Water day to evening should be fresh and clean. Birds should have free access to water until late evening. Some fanciers remove water a few hours before roosting time to reduce the chance of birds drinking excessively overnight and having full crops in morning. This is optional. Day to evening, observe birds carefully. They should be calm and preparing to roost. They should look lean and fit, not gaunt or weak. Eyes should be bright. Feathers should be tight. Behavior should be alert but relaxed. These are birds in peak condition, ready to race tomorrow. Day 1, Sunday morning, race day basketing day, is final critical hours. You should arrive at loft at least 90 minutes before basketing time. This allows time for systematic check, as described in previous videos. Time to catch birds calmly. Time for any final adjustments. Morning day 1. Birds should not be fed before basketing. They were fed lightly evening before. That's sufficient. Adding more feed morning of basketing creates risk of birds having full crops during basketing and shipping. Empty or very light crops is optimal. Water should be available until about 1 hour before basketing. Then remove water. You don't want birds drinking heavily right before basketing and having full crops of water during transport. Execute the 60-second loft check. Air quality, bird behavior, water quality, bedding condition, trap visibility, environmental stability. Everything should be optimal. Catch birds calmly and efficiently. Don't rush. Don't create stress. Each bird should be caught smoothly, examined briefly to verify condition. Place in clean basket with good ventilation. The basket should smell like the loft. This is important detail, often overlooked. Some fanciers put small piece of old loft bedding or cloth from the loft in each basket. The familiar scent reduces stress during transport. Birds smell home even while confined in basket, which is calming. During transport to basketing location, drive calmly. No aggressive driving, no rapid acceleration or braking, no rough roads if avoidable. Keep baskets secure so they don't slide or tip. Minimize transport stress. At basketing location, follow club procedures. Ensure birds are registered correctly. Check that race containers are clean, well ventilated, properly designed. Some races have poor transport conditions, overcrowded containers, inadequate ventilation. If you observe serious problems, consider withdrawing rather than subjecting birds to conditions that might harm them or severely stress them before racing even starts. After basketing, your work is done until birds return. The 7A protocol has brought birds to peak condition. The race result depends on race conditions, competition, luck, and birds' inherent ability. But you've done everything possible to optimize their preparation. Now, let's discuss the physiological reason behind this protocol, because understanding why each element matters helps you implement it correctly and adjust for your specific situation. The gradual feed restriction over 7 days serves multiple purposes. First, it ensures digestive system is clean and efficient by race day. Heavy digestive load during racing impairs performance because significant energy and blood flow go to digestion rather than flight muscles. Light digestive load allows maximum energy allocation to flying. Second, gradual restriction maintains body weight at optimal level. Birds slightly leaner than normal training weight often perform better in races because they're carrying less body mass while still having adequate energy reserves. The restriction can't be sudden or severe, which would weaken birds, but gradual moderate restriction optimizes weight. Third, the changing feed composition toward lighter, more digestible grains ensures whatever feed remains in the system on race day processes efficiently without creating digestive stress. The electrolyte supplementation day 5 through 3 builds mineral reserves without suppressing thirst drive on race day. 3 days of moderate electrolyte water ensures birds arrive at race with optimal sodium, potassium, and other mineral status. Discontinuing electrolytes day 2 when 1 allows thirst drive to normalize, so birds drink readily after liberation and during the race. The stress reduction throughout the week preserves immune function and energy reserves. Stress activates hormonal responses that suppress immunity and increase energy expenditure. Minimizing stress keeps bird systems operating optimally without unnecessary expenditure or immune suppression. The final very light feeding evening before race and no feeding morning of race ensures clean light crop during basketing and liberation. Birds with empty or nearly empty crops fly more efficiently immediately after liberation than birds with full heavy crops. Now let's discuss variations and adjustments because not every situation fits the exact protocol described. You need to understand principles well enough to adjust intelligently. If racing multiple weeks consecutively, you can't implement full 7-day protocol every week because birds need to recover from previous race. In consecutive racing situations, use abbreviated protocol. Maybe day 3 through day 1 focus preparation, maintaining normal feeding earlier in the week. The full 7-day protocol is primarily for important races where you want absolute peak performance, provincial championships, national races, major competitions. If birds are slightly underconditioned entering the final week, reduce the feed restriction. Provide normal or slightly increased feeding to maintain condition while still adjusting composition toward easier digestion. Underconditioned birds can't afford significant calorie restriction. They need maintenance or slight building. If birds are overconditioned or heavy, increase feed restriction. Use more aggressive calorie reduction to bring weight down to optimal level. Overconditioned birds benefit significantly from restriction that eliminates excess body fat and optimizes weight. If weather is very hot during the prep week, increase water provision and reduce feed restrictions slightly. Hot weather increases energy expenditure and dehydration risk. Birds need more calories and hydration in heat. If weather is cold, you might reduce feed restrictions slightly because cold increases caloric needs for thermoregulation. The protocol is framework, not rigid formula. Adjust based on individual birds' condition, weather, race distance, and your specific situation. The principles remain constant. Optimize digestion, build mineral reserves, minimize stress, achieve lean fit condition, but implementation details flex. Now let's discuss common mistakes fanciers make during the final week. Mistake 1. Feeding too heavily right up to race day. Many fanciers think birds need maximum energy for racing and feed heavily through the final week. This creates heavy digestive load that impairs performance. Light feeding with clean digestion performs better than heavy feeding with digestive stress. Mistake 2. Restricting feed too severely too quickly. Sudden severe restriction weakens birds. The restriction must be gradual over several days, allowing bird systems to adjust while maintaining energy. Mistake 3. Adding new supplements or feeds in final week. The final week is not time for experimentation. Use familiar feeds and supplements only. New additions create digestive uncertainty and potential problems. Mistake 4. Overhandling birds in final week. Constant examination and handling creates stress. Minimize handling to essential activities. Mistake 5. Making loft changes in final week. Cleaning, rearranging visitors. Any disruption creates stress. Maintain stable environment. Mistake 6. Training too close to race day. Training should stop at least 4 to 5 days before important races. Training day 2 or 3 before racing doesn't improve conditioning and creates fatigue. Mistake 7. Providing electrolyte water all the way through to race morning. This can suppress thirst drive. Electrolyte should stop day 3 or 4 before race. Avoid these mistakes. Follow the protocol with discipline. Adjust thoughtfully based on principles, not randomly based on hope or anxiety. Now, let's discuss measuring success of the protocol. How do you know if your implementation is working? The indicators are race performance and recovery. If birds race well, plays better than they typically do against similar competition, recover quickly after races, maintain condition through season, the protocol is working. If you implement the protocol before important races and see improved performance in those races compared to races where you use regular management, that's evidence the protocol works. You can also measure through condition assessment. Birds that go through the protocol correctly should look and feel optimal on basketing day. Lean, fit, excellent muscle tone, bright eyes, alert, calm behavior. If they don't show these characteristics, implementation wasn't correct. Recovery after races is another indicator. Birds prepared with proper protocol should recover faster than birds prepared with regular management. Monitor recovery time and quality to assess protocol effectiveness. Now, let's discuss the championship perspective because top fanciers universally practice systematic final week preparation. Leo Heremans' meticulous 7-day protocol was famous. He followed the same systematic preparation before every important race for decades. He understood that the final week determined whether birds arrived at races in good condition or peak condition. Peak condition wins. Good condition places. Louis van der Velde similarly implemented disciplined pre-race preparation. His feeding protocols, stress management, and condition optimization in final week were integral to his success. He didn't leave race preparation to chance or general good management. He systematically optimized every detail. These championship results came partly from excellent birds and excellent general management throughout the season, but they came also from understanding that peak performance requires peak preparation in the final critical days before racing. The 7-day protocol creates that peak. You can implement the same systematic approach. You can bring your birds to races in peak condition instead of just good condition. You can optimize every physiological system: digestion, hydration, mineral status, stress hormones, immune function, to support maximum performance. The protocol is clear. Day 7, final training verification and first feed adjustment. Day 6, rest and continued feed adjustment. Day 5, electrolyte supplementation begins. Day 4, feed becomes very light and digestible. Day 3, final condition assessment, and last day of electrolytes. Day 2, minimal feeding and maximum rest. Day 1, no feeding, calm basketing, familiar scent in baskets. Learn it, practice it, refine it based on your bird's responses, and watch your performance in important races improve as you arrive with birds in true peak condition instead of just reasonable condition. This is the difference between hoping birds will do well and knowing you've done everything possible to optimize their preparation. This is the difference between random results and systematic excellence. This is what separates championship programs from casual programs. The 7 days before racing determine the race result as much as the months of training that came before. Optimize those 7 days. Follow the protocol with discipline. Bring birds to peak at exactly the right moment, and watch them perform at levels you didn't think they could reach. Your birds have the potential. Your job is to unlock that potential through optimal preparation. The 7-day protocol does exactly that. Implement it, perfect it, and achieve the results your birds are capable of achieving when everything is managed correctly. The champion's secret isn't secret anymore. It's systematic preparation based on physiological principles applied with discipline in the final critical week. Now you know it. Use it. And join the ranks of fanciers who consistently achieve championship results because they prepare champions systematically, not randomly. 7 days, 7 stages, peak condition, championship performance. That's the protocol. That's the path. Make it yours.
Después de una mañana de vuelo, a las 12 han entrado en comido, todavía queda un poquito de comida. Todavía quedan algunos por fuera. Pero ya hoy le hemos puesto otra vez, como todos los martes vamos a hacer a partir de ahora, su bañera. Y ahí están ellos bañándose. Ahora dentro de un rato que yo acabo me quite de aquí, ya se tranquilizarán y se bañarán. Están muy bien, ¿eh? Mucha calor en Málaga. Y lo que queremos es que ellos se bañen, estén tranquilos y se relajen. Tiene un producto para los ácaros en el baño, mira cómo está, se pone. Faltan por entrar algunos, pero es normal, todavía les cuesta entrar. Y tienen otras 3 bañeras para que esta ala de aquí se bañen ahora. Y vamos a poner canario.